What is going on there, people of the fog, YouTubers, girls and guys, all alike? So this is my Legion eBay mask that I repainted, and I gotta say I am so goddamn impressed how this actually came out. Is it 100% accurate to the game? No. This is my own creation of it. You know, for a cheap $20 Legion mask off eBay, you know, like, and then repainting it, you can't go wrong, man. Like, this is great. Like, this is, like, I'm kind of just excited of how this came out through my own repaint. I somehow cease to amaze myself, and sometimes I manage to find techniques, that I didn't think I knew, and then I just kind of put my brain to it, and I'm like, well, what if I mix a little bit of black in here? Would it make it a little bit more darker in the blood and things like that? And that's actually what I was doing. And as you can see here, here's my palette. I was kind of doing some last finishing touches to the mask before I decided to say that it was finished. It doesn't look nearly as good as basically actually having it on, obviously, because it's missing the hood, and I think the hood is actually what sets the piece apart. But yeah, I just thought I would go over basically how I made this mask. It was, you know, very easy to do, very cheap to do. You only need like a few things to really get this going here. Do keep in mind that you know, everybody else's mask is going to turn out to be a little bit different than mine if you are deciding to do this on your own. I thought about doing a whole video, a fast forward video of me actually doing this, but it would just be way too lengthy in my opinion, because this took me about 12 hours and I was still working on it today. So actually said and done, it probably took me 24 hours to actually do a piece like this, at least 24 hours put into the project. So how did I actually start this? Well, if you guys seen my community post, you'll see what the actual stock mask actually looks like. And at the beginning of the video, that was just one edition of what the mask actually looked like. I actually made a few additional changes, so keep that in mind as well. Like, I added a little bit more darker blood up in here. The mouth here is actually a lot darker and things like that. So when Halloween actually comes around, I'm going to do a full-on cosplay of my own rendition of what Legion looks like, in my opinion, with my own clothes and things like that. It's not going to be 100% accurate. It's, say it was just a cosmetic or something like that, and I basically made my own costume out of Legion. So that will come up probably towards Halloween. I thought I'd do Legion because, you know, I got inspired by seeing these masks on eBay, and it's about the easiest cosplay you can really do out there in terms of Dead by Daylight. Legion's probably one of the easier ones. What's another easier one? I know, like Wraith and Hillbilly, those ones would be harder to do because those are full-on prosthetics that you would have to apply to yourself, or at least a mask at that, and then applying some kind of blending in with your skin to actually get that that look down. Whereas this is just a simple mask, and your clothes are what set the mask apart, really. So yeah, enough of the blabbering there. So how did I create this mask? What did I do first? Well, the only real things that you're gonna need is, is food coloring. You can use Equate or Aquifer Healing Ointment, kind of like a Neosporin, something like that. Acrylic paints. The only acrylic paints that I really used was black, white, and brown back there. Those are the only three that you'll really need. The clear coat, I know this sounds really weird to put clear coat on a latex mask, but bear with me. Keep in mind that I was experimenting with this project at the same time. So yeah, so what did I do first? So basically I repainted the whole entire mask white, and not going over the black. I just kind of left that alone, but I basically went all over the mask white, repainted it completely white. And then the next thing that I did was I took a little bit of the brown back there, mixed it in some water to dilute the acrylic paint, and then what I would do was I would start blotting it. As you can see up here, it's a little brown up in this area. I would blot it and take like a rag and then take away that excess water, just like this. Just keep blotting it away, and that will give you kind of a brownish kind of blend in with the white to kind of give the mask a bit of dirt. Kind of mimic that it's a little bit dirtier, not so fresh. You can see that all throughout the mask. Has like this tannish kind of dirt appearance there. I could have probably added a little bit more darker in these little finer lines into the mask. I didn't want to go too crazy with the black details in these little crevices. Some of them I left out. I felt like that would drown out the mask a little too much, so I just kind of added it to the front and left it alone. Then after that, I would basically grab the black acrylic paint and I would start going back in. Any white that I accidentally got inside of the black parts while repainting this, I would basically repaint black again throughout the eyes, the mouth, and that was really it. If you saw in the community post, these teeth were a little too dark back up in here, so I repainted these white as well, these teeth here. That was a needed change in my opinion. And let's see here. But yeah, where the real juicy bits go into is the blood, but I'll get there in a bit. So after that was said and done, I basically took the clear coat to kind of give it a sheen. As you can see, the mask looks a little bit shinier, and because if you ever worked with acrylic paint, it's actually kind of satin. It's a very dull paint. So to kind of bring it out to life a little bit and add a ORM texture file to the mask, you just take a clear coat. Some people use varnishes on acrylic paint, but again, I didn't want to go to the store. I was a little bit lazy. I decided, you know what, I have a bunch of clear coat because I work on my car a lot and I have a bunch of paint just chilling in the garage. I decided, well, I'll take some automotive clear coat and see what happens. So this was kind of a learning lesson. And it turned out okay. I sprayed it down with about 2 layers onto the mask, not too much. You don't want to go too crazy because you are dealing with a malleable latex here, and clear coat kind of only likes hard surfaces, so if you use something that's very malleable, the clear coat will start crumbling away and it just won't look very good. So be very careful of how many coats you put on latex. Like I said, 2 seems to be the best here. I haven't added the final clear coat because I'm actually going to probably add one last layer over this because when I actually added in these black lines, the details and things like that, and the blood, that's actually sitting on top of that first 2 coats of clear coat. So I'm going to probably do one last third one to set it and be finalized with it. So yeah, now the next part is the blood. Now, I did not come up with this technique. I actually followed it from a YouTuber, link in the description below to their video. I actually do not have the name on hand, I apologize, but the YouTuber is going to be in the link will be in the description below of basically their blood concoction and how they made their own blood. Now I did add a little bit of a modifier to it though to make the blood a little bit darker, as I actually added black paint to it. So what you will need is the Aquifer or Equate healing ointment. This works very good at getting like the chunky bloody kind of look. It just basically adds the chunks to the blood to kind of make it look gory looking. So that's why you would kind of want that. And then you would take some liquid food coloring or gel food coloring. This is specifically gel. I actually find that the gel works a lot better. It was funny because every store I would go to, they didn't have liquid food coloring. I don't know why. I don't know if there's maybe a regulation, don't know, but I found that the gel actually works pretty good actually. It has a really deep red color to it. So to get it just a little bit darker like blood should be, I added basically just 1 drop to the concoction. So basically I would put a little bit of blood here and put like just a little bit of just a pea size of the healing ointment in there, and then just a pea size of the black. Mix it all together, and then you have your blood, which will turn out looking like this beautiful mess here. So what I did with the blood was I darkened the etches here very much so, kind of smudged it a little bit, so that's why there's a little bit red on the outside to kind of blend it. This, I kind of wanted to get rid of this part, but it was not in my favor. It just kept on making the white look pink, so I just had to live with it and actually just kind of darken it and just add it part of the mask, and it doesn't look too bad, but I was really hoping to actually take this part out. But again, I just went with it and I actually just improved on it, and it doesn't look too bad. And then for the mouth, again, I just smeared it. I didn't actually use my hand to do this. I actually just used a brush and just kind of started painting it in. You can't really see this part of the mask when you actually wear it, so it doesn't look too bad. Even though it's way out here, you don't actually see a whole lot of this. So when you're wearing it with a hood, you actually don't see but maybe this section of it right here. So looks pretty good. And then once the blood was dry on the mask, I went in with black paint, very light amount of black paint on a small brush, and started going in to the details in here, like making this look, as you can see, it looks like dark blood because I added a little bit of black up in there. You can really see it right up in here where I've added a little bit of black in there. So just a little added touch. I added a little bit more up in here. I think I even added some black paint up in here. Let me see here. And yeah, it's honestly just a bunch of trial and erroring, guys. When I was first doing this, it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to, and then I just kept on coming up with ideas. I was like, well, what if we do this? Okay, well, what if we do that? And honestly, that's all it really takes. I actually had over 3 revisions of what this looked like. If you guys follow me on my Discord, I kind of post you updates of how the mask is coming along and things like that. And the initial one is actually, the first revision of it is what you were seeing in the beginning of the video. In the beginning of the video, you didn't see this black bloody spot right up in here throughout the eye. So that was actually an added thing that I just put onto the mask. So whether or not you agree it should have been removed or should have been left alone or added, that's, I don't know. But probably by Halloween I'll make another video of my full-on cosplay of my own vision of what Legion looks like to me, since I got to work with what I got and I don't really want to spend on clothes just for one night, you know. So but yeah, and then if you see the little blood spot splotching up in here, all I did was basically added a little bit of water to the blood concoction, and then I basically just took my I used a big brush and I just kind of flung it at the mask at like that direction to kind of look like you slashed somebody and the blood got on his mask or something like that. So that lucked out pretty good. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the mask. Nothing going on this side because I didn't want to get too crazy. I just wanted it mainly on the left side of the mask, kind of like how you see in the video game. I don't know what you guys think of it, but I mean, come on, guys, for $20, a $20 eBay mask, and these products here I've already had, so I didn't really have to spend extra money on. But I mean, if you guys do, I mean, this will probably turn out to be a $50 project for you guys. And, you know, you compare that with, like, say, Etsy or something like that. I find a lot of the masks on Etsy aren't, and again, I'm not a cocky person, but they don't look nearly as good as this, because if you ever see the Legion masks on Etsy, for example, I feel like it's a little bit of a false advertisement, because if you look at the masks, they don't look quite as accurate as the pictures show you from people that have gotten that same mask, because, you know, it's kind of like Amazon. You can post pictures of the product that you got from them, and you compare it to the front end page of that same product, and you can see that it doesn't quite match up the same. And I get that every mask is going to look different because you're making them for a bunch of different people, but they don't look nearly as good as the first one, and it looks like it's either been rushed or they're doing the same thing, grabbing an eBay mask, and it's not actually made by them, they're just repainting it, something like along those lines. So I don't really know what to make of that, but I mean, you're paying $100 for an Etsy version of the mask, and it doesn't look nearly like the first picture that's advertised, whereas this is going to be $20, and you get what, well, this, depending on what kind of products you already have at home. So, yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Does this look better? Does it look worse? Or, yeah, I don't know. But if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I will be sure to get back to you guys. But yeah, I look forward to the next video, and I can't wait to cosplay with this mask because I'm very, very impressed with how it turned out. You know, at the end of the day, if other people don't think they like it, but I like it, that's all that really matters, right? But yeah, hopefully if you guys want to make these, yeah, just, you know, like I said, it's a lot of trial and erroring. Just go in it with your own pace. Just really put your brain to it, and you can create something pretty cool like this, you know. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video, and stay cool.